BTS News Today. When the camera is on, the world sees only what it wants to show. The light of the spotlights, the planned laughter, the perfect choreography, and the interactions already mastered. But when the cameras are off, when there is no spotlight, and there is only silence between the seconds that are not recorded, that is when the truth begins to speak. And now, the truth is finally open. Jungkook and Jimin, two figures from BTS who have kept a lot of things behind the scenes. I finally couldn't hide it anymore. What's really going on behind the camera all this time? It's a mystery that only a few people know about. But everything changes in one unexpected moment. This event took place in the midst of a seemingly ordinary situation. Training breaks, photo shoots, and take a break from such a busy military schedule. Jungkook and Jimin, who have known each other for over a decade, it has a bond that cannot be explained with ordinary words. But lately, fans who are so keen on reading even small gestures have begun to feel something different. It's not just the warmth like it used to be, but there's tension, emotions, and sparks of feelings are much more complex. When the camera turns off, that's when they can no longer hide what they've been keeping tight. The moment took place in a modest rehearsal space, away from the media spotlight. There was no script, no direction, just two humans standing facing each other. Jungkook, which has been known as the magnate, cheerful and full of spirit, it looked very different that night. His eyes harbored something never before seen, a mixture of wounds, longing, and courage that slowly began to break. On the other hand, Jimin stood still, as if knowing that fate had brought them to a point where silence was louder than screams. "Why did you stay away?" asked Jungkook slowly. That question doesn't need to be answered in real words, because Jimin knows, they both know, that the world has changed them more than they can realize. Over the years, they lead a very unusual life, living under a public microscope, become part of a global phenomenon, and still try to maintain the little privacy they have. But in the process, their relationship is tested by time, pressure, and expectations. As everyone sees them as Jungkook, only they know how complicated everything is. There is love, but there is also fear. There is togetherness, but also a growing emotional distance. Jimin did not answer immediately. He looked down, then sighed. "I didn't know how to behave when everything changed. I'm afraid I'm going to lose you." Those words, simple but loaded with meaning, made the room suddenly heavy. Jungkook stepped closer. No camera, no fans, only them. He raised his hand, tried to touch Jimin's shoulder, but hesitated. In that silence, they were finally honest with each other. Without theatrics, without fake smiles, without a stage, Jimin was finally crying. Her tears fell uncontrollably, and this time, Jungkook didn't leave him alone. He hugged Jimin, as he had done many years ago, when both were teenagers who did not know how heavy the world of celebrities was. But this hug is different, tighter, more emotional, as if the hug wanted to say, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." That moment, if recorded, would probably be the most touching video in BTS history. But maybe it's better not to be recorded, because it is an honesty that is born of a really real silence. It was one of the few moments in which the world did not interfere, where they just become Jungkook and Jimin, not idols, not Jungkook, no one but two friends whose hearts are connected. What happens when the camera goes off is the truth that they hurt, that they miss, that although the world glorifies their names, they remain human beings who can feel loss, fear, and precarious hope. After the hug, not many words were said, but there is an understanding born between them. Not instant reconciliation, not the resolution of all problems, but a small step towards recovery. They didn't have to say it all that night, but they're finally starting to be honest. And since that night, things have slowly changed. The way they look at each other, the way they touch each other in public, not as a show, but as an expression that can no longer be held back. The army began to see it. They catch meaningful gazes behind the stage, a moment's silence as each one's name is called, or that little smile that can only be given to someone we really know. The media may never know the whole story, but the real fans can feel it, that something big is happening behind the scenes. And not a scandal, not a drama, but the truth of the heart. Maybe this is part of their journey. Perhaps they will never admit it publicly, but maybe that's not important either, because they already chose not to hide it from each other anymore. What happens when the camera goes off is a confession, not just about love or feelings, but about the courage to be real. And in a world so full of falsehoods, that's the most valuable thing. After that night, the world went on as usual. Exercises resume, strict scheduling remains in place, and life as a BTS member still demands commitment and sacrifice. But something has changed, not just in the dynamic between Jungkook and Jimin, but also in the way they carry themselves. There is a new calm, like a huge weight that slowly begins to be released from the chest. In subsequent interviews, although there were no explicit statements, ARMY quickly grasped the different nuances. Jungkook's gaze unconsciously looking for Jimin's whereabouts, for Jimin who looked calmer when he was by Jungkook's side. No more rigid pretense. They no longer seem as if they have to keep boundaries they never agreed to. Cameras can light up again, but now they are no longer afraid of mirror reflections, which may indicate too much truth. Behind all this, the staff who worked with them began to notice the change. One of the stylists even commented in a private session that Jimin now seems lighter. She smiled in a way we hadn't seen in years. He said, Jungkook is also no longer as quiet as before. He even began to be more open on various occasions, answer questions with passionate eyes, as if a part of him had returned. Longtime fans know that it's not just a matter of chemistry. In front of the camera, this is the journey of two best friends who have been saving each other's wounds, realize that escape is not the solution. Truth is the only way to survive in this world that doesn't give them much room to be vulnerable. But of course, not everything is easy after a moment of honesty. There are days when everything seems tense again, when words are hard to say and emotions are hard to control. This time, however, the difference was that they no longer hid it. When one of them is silent for too long, the other will wait, not run. When differences of opinion arise, they will resolve them, not keep them. It's not a perfect relationship, but it's real. And in reality, that's the beauty point. One source close to BTS said that the interaction between Jungkook and Jimin, it became much more immersive after that dead camera incident. In a small celebration of Jungkook's birthday that was not publicly recorded, only attended by staff and a few people nearby, Jimin is said to be the only member who prepared a personal gift with his own hands. A small frame painting that only has one word in the middle, "Welcome home." It's not just a gift, it's a symbol, a recognition that whatever had happened between them, now they are back, not to the place, but to each other. Their journey is still long, and there will probably be days when the shadows of the past come back to haunt. But the night when the camera went off, it has been a turning point. Fans, as always, played an important role in putting these pieces of the story together. On social media, theories about the emotional connection between Jungkook and Jimin have resurfaced. But this time, what was discussed was not just a viral moment or a suspicious hug. Rather, it is an in-depth discussion of friendship, inner wounds, and how idols are also human. Many soldiers wrote that they learned a lot from this story about the importance of communication, the courage to admit feelings, and that hiding everything will only make the wound deeper. This story also influenced the way the media covered BTS. Some entertainment news outlets began to change the tone of their reporting. No longer just a sensation fishing, but trying to convey the human side of the relationship between members. Jungkook and Jimin are no longer just fanservice subjects, but two individuals who are in the process of healing each other through each other. The other members of BTS did not remain silent. RM, for example, in a short live session, had time to say a sentence that later many associated with this event.
Come up from the basement, 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it.